Hi everybody, Cellini here. Had a client that wanted to be able to do a push-up and they said they can't do a push-up, and I'm going to show you how to, anybody can do a push-up. We're going to start with progressive push-ups. We're going to start in this doorway and I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. We're going to start with some stretches for the arms, the shoulder joint especially, and the chest muscles, and then we're going to progress it into a progressive push-up, a doorway push-up, eventually to the floor. So here we go in stages and steps, kind of a good angle here. I'm just going to start. You want to make sure you keep your shoulder blades down. I always talk about posture. 3 bowls of water. Keep those pelvic girdle, rib cage, and head in alignment. This bone and this bone, the collarbone or sternoclavicular, malosternal position. And when you're doing this stretch, be careful not to gooseneck and get your neck way forward, put pressure on the neck. Try to keep that alignment and move with your whole body. So we're going to start just parallel in the doorway, and we're just going to go forward with our body, stretching the shoulders and the arms. Straight up, palms in. You want to go fairly rapidly because you can do these real slow and you can take your time. You can hold the stretch. All right, now I'm going to go a little wider. Keeping that chin and neck in place. 3 bowls of water moving. Adjust your feet in or out where you feel a good stretch, either forward or back. If you go too far forward, you're going to feel a lot of pressure in your shoulder joints. You just play with it. Find a spot where you feel comfortable. Turn the palms in. Keep the elbows bent a little bit. Let those bend as you need to. Keep the body in alignment. You can hold the stretch. You can go in slow motion. You can hold this position. All right, now we're going to go a little lower. Now I'm going to start to do this as a push-up. So I'm going to resist a little bit as I go in. I'm going to hold and squeeze and press isometrically with my muscles. Now I'm going to push and squeeze when I come back. Working the same muscles, working the chest, the shoulder, and the tricep, just like you would in a regular push-up. Those are the most work. So you could do a few there. You can progress and just stay in this position if you feel work. If you want to increase the workload at any position, you just back up a little bit and go forward. That's going to work against gravity and put more resistance. And again, you can go super slow, but you want to resist. The eccentric is a stretching. Hold the isometric and then squeeze isometrically. Don't squeeze your hands or your jaw or your face. Just squeeze the muscles you're working. You can stay right in that place. And when you want to progress, again, you can go further back. It's more of a push-up. So you can continue that in that spot, or you can go a little lower. Once you get to that point and you feel good way back on the upper one, go a little lower and start in again. If that's not enough pressure, find the spot that's working you and just adjust as you go. Now I'm going quick right now, but you would do the same thing I did earlier. Release, resisting, holding isometric squeeze. Now I could feel I let my chin go a little forward that time. I felt pressure in my neck. So you got to keep that malosternal position. The 3 bowls of water in alignment. And again, you just progress down and back. And that increases the difficulty of that push-up. Taking your time. So you just play with that and experiment. A little further back. Now you can see I'm getting lower into more of a even with my chest, and that's where you normally want to do a push-up where your hands are even with your chest. Elbows come back approximately a right angle here. You don't want the shoulder blades ever up. So at this point, I'm doing a pretty good push-up. And I can do regular push-ups all day long, but if I tax myself and squeeze and concentrate, I can make this a workout. You can see my muscles. I'm getting some work here. Keeping that malosternal position. Try not to squeeze the face and the jaws. Now, you can go a little lower and do this just as a stretch. It's not really a push-up, but that's a real good shoulder joint stretch. So again, we've started the stretches from high, wider, all the way down. But that's the way you want to progress on a push-up right there. All right, so what I've done now is I've switched from the doorway to this table block here, the counter block, right? Now, I don't have quite enough room here to go way back, but just to give you the idea, now I'm going lower. So this is going to increase the difficulty. You can find something even a little higher, but this countertop is probably a good stage to go to. Again, I want to be at right angles in the elbow joints and even with your chest. When you do weight training with like a barbell, for example, on a bench press, you should have that bar just under your chest or even with your chest, not higher or lower. So that's about where you want to have your hands. Where that thumb line, if you had an imaginary barbells in your hand or a stick across there just below the lower chest at the sternum is about the perfect area. So you want to line yourself up, right angles here when you come down in the joints, keeping that malosternal position, 3 bowls of water, and that lower chest you can see is hitting that imaginary barbell line. And that's the ideal place to line yourself up. Now, if I had room here, I could progressively go back further. So what I'm going to do is turn and show you. I'm going to go on the kitchen counter now. And you can see I'm going to go a little further back, align those right angles, get the chest there, and progress a little further back, keeping that same alignment a little further back. So you can see the angle gets a little tougher. So now, if I go any lower, I'm not in a good position, you can see. So the last progression for me here is here, and I just want to throw one little thing in. You want to stay at a particular spot and make it a little tougher. As you go down, lift one leg up, and you can bring the knee up just to parallel, and that works some lower abdominal. And then you start over. Lift the leg up as you're going down eccentrically, hold the isometric, and come up and bring that knee in. So up and out, up and in, or down and out, excuse me, and up and in, getting some abs in there and making it a little bit tougher on you. So now we're going to progress to the next spot. And you can play with this, use areas in or out of your home and experiment a little bit. You could use a bathroom counter, you could do a table, you can use a chair, you can do a stool, a bench if you have one. And we're going to go take the next step into my living room. Got sidetracked, guys. All right, to the living room. Now we're going to progress a little further. Now we were on the counter before at about this level. I'm going to take that a little lower. You can find something in between, depends on what you're doing, but I'm just going to go down to this level now, and I'm going to line up with the edge on that sternum. The right angles, come down, squeeze and resist. Take your time. And again, progress them. You can go a little further back, lean forward a little, keep the back straight. Same thing, you could lift the leg if you want it harder and you want to progress up with this before you go lower. Do the same thing over here on my couch or that chair. So same idea, find that alignment. So I'm going to use the edge of the couch to line up on that imaginary barbell position. Squeeze and hold. You can do the up down with this as well. You can find something, you can do a little step or stoop. I've actually got a stoop here, you probably can't see it, but a little step off. I could go down and that's going to take me about halfway down to the floor. So you can use that level. There's all type of things you can do to progress down. And then you're just going to take it, eventually, you'll go right to your regular push-up. So your right angles. I'm going to touch the brim of my hat in this case, and then come back and you can progress a little more to more advanced if that feels good to you. So again, pretty much right angles in the joints. Hands are even with the chest. You can go down slow to make it harder. You can hold one, come up slow, or you can do it with explosion. Also, again, adding the legs. And if that's too tough, progressing down, start here and just go with your knees. That's a pretty darn good workout right there if you take it slow and you squeeze and you concentrate. Then you can lift one leg. Just have one knee support either side or switching off. And then you're going to progress up to your regular push-up. So there you have progressive push-ups, everybody. Start in the door jamb and work your way down. I'll guarantee anybody out there, any age, any fitness level, you can eventually progress up and do a regular push-up. And you build up sets of 10. Give it a try. Let Shalini know what you think. Be well, everybody.